talk about this. I'm still looking for the FBI. We've got Kash Patel, former Deputy Director of National Intelligence and former Department of Defense Chief of Staff and a former House Intel Committee National Security Advisor. Kash, I mean, I tell you, I can't follow this story. They can't get their story right. So let me, the Wall Street Journal is reporting the Justice Department thought about bringing their own lawyers in or the FBI in, but decided not to. And instead, we had a bunch of lawyers without national security clearance. Then it turns out that there were White House lawyers or Justice Department lawyers, but we don't know what their clearance was, and they might have been political appointees. I mean, Kash, I'm lost in this story. All I know is that classified documents from the vice president should be sitting at the National Archives, not in his Chevy Corvette. But you tell me, what is going on here?
No, you're not lost, Larry. You're following the facts meticulously. Who is lost is the Department of Justice and the FBI and the two-tier system of justice they have created. You know from our time in the Trump administration where you and I both served, this type of behavior would be argued against violently, and rightfully so, because they would say the Department of Justice is supposed to be an independent, apolitical law enforcement agency. I know that from my time as a federal prosecutor in the National Security Division. But what's most disturbing, Larry, is from my time as a public defender. Can you just imagine if the DOJ, I approached them when I was representing bank robbers and drug cartel defendants, and I said, why don't I go investigate the crime scene for you? And then whatever I find, I'll let you, the FBI and DOJ, know. That's how absurd this is. That would never happen. And make no mistake about it, the Biden home, the Biden Penn Center, and wherever else these documents are ongoing active crime scenes. And under the law, the only one that is allowed to enter those ongoing active crime scenes are law enforcement.
Right.
So you're not lost, Larry. You're asking the right questions. They are just manipulating the system for politics.
I mean, apart from the delays and the announcements and all the craziness, you know, Kash, it's like I'm looking around under cars, across the street, in diners. Where is the FBI? This is what they are supposed to do. Not justice lawyers or could be political appointees, not White House lawyers, not private lawyers, but the FBI. What is Merrick Garland afraid of? Why hasn't he done this? I just don't understand anyone. And Biden's polls are plunging right now because of this, because ordinary Americans are scratching their heads and saying, huh, really? Why don't they bring it? This is where the FBI is supposed to be.
And you're right. And it's the complete weaponization, from the politicization to the weaponization of DOJ and FBI. Merrick Garland and Chris Wray, who's too busy in Davos rather than solving America's crimes right now on a government-funded jet, they have intentionally, and make no mistake about it, you're right, Larry, you're asking the best questions I've heard on this topic. Merrick Garland has intentionally decided not to let the FBI and top cops go in there. That means he sat down and negotiated with White House lawyers and Joe Biden's personal lawyers, along with other staffers, to say, hey, you guys go ahead. It's not like this happens without their consent and agreement. So you have the nation's top cop and top investigator in Garlick and Wray signing off on this approach. And remember when they last took this approach? Hillary Clinton's email server. They let her personal lawyers go in and investigate the crime scene, and they automated a conclusion that James Comey concocted was a legal fiction, and I think that's where this case is going. They've run this roadmap before, and I believe it's going to lead to an exoneration of Joe Biden, because they'll say nothing to see here. We did a thorough investigation.
And no one will believe it. No one will believe it. No one will believe it, Kash, if they put, no. Kash, I know it's been said before, but this Wilmington garage, business, library, whatever. These are crime scenes. These are crime scenes. We have a process here. It has 3 initials, FBI. They won't do it. I mean, I'm not asking them to break in. I'm not asking them to do what they did at Mar-a-Lago, which was a fiasco. They're just supposed to investigate these crime scenes. And they won't do it. I'll give you the last word.
And they would. And they would if the house was under the name of President Trump and it was rented by Don Jr. And there was a Corvette in there. We wouldn't even be having this conversation. That's the two-tier system of justice that the American public are sick and tired of, and I'm glad we're highlighting it here. And the target, remember, is not Joe Biden. We need to fix the FBI and DOJ, and if we can use this case and investigation to do it, then we can win again for America, at least when it comes to law enforcement.
No, that's a good point. The structural reform is really important. Kash Patel, thank you ever so much for your time. We appreciate it.